Welcome to the second video of Madelon Talks. My name is Madelon Vos and today we'll discuss the most important crypto news of the week. We will dive deeper into detail about Turkey banning cryptocurrency payments. We will also take a look at the direct listing of Coinbase and what went afterwards. And we will dive deeper in some macroeconomic things that have changed and that are quite odd. And in the end of this video, of course, we will take a look at the charts. We're going to dive deeper into the gold chart and into the Bitcoin chart. So that's very promising. Right now, I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller. And I would really like to thank you because the last video was my first video in English on this channel. And I was so freaking nervous for the comments and everyone that was watching this video, and I must say that I'm really happy with all the comments. And I know my English isn't the best, but I'm really trying to make this very hard topic subject like macroeconomics and Bitcoin together as easy understandable as possible in English as well. So I'm completely honest and so happy that all of the comments were like great. So thank you so much for your support. And if you want to support this video as well, don't forget to press the blue thumb. And the first news article is about Turkey's central bank banning the use of cryptocurrency payments. And they've announced this on Friday. And they said that crypto assets cannot be used directly or indirectly for payments, and no such firm can provide such service. And why? What is the reason that they don't want to have anyone that's involved in cryptocurrencies paying with these kinds of assets? They say it's about the fact that there is no regulated central authority, that cryptocurrencies are very volatile, that their transactions are irrevocable, and that it could be used for legal activities. They also said, here, the last sentence, it's considered that their use in payments may cause non-recoverable losses for parties to transactions due to the above listed factors. So what they say is that there are some risks involved when using cryptocurrencies for a payment. But to be honest, I think there is something other behind it. And I tweeted about this today. Turkey's central bank bans the use of cryptocurrencies for payments, and Turkey sees BTC as a threat and are desperately trying to regulate it. To me, they probably see it as a threat, and I will tell you why. I will come back to this, the middle part of this tweet later on, but let's take a look at this. You see here in this chart the Turkish Lira against the US dollar, and what it has done over the last couple of years. It has lost its value, it has lost its purchasing power. In 2014 it was still at 50 versus 1 USD. Now it's at 12 versus 1 USD. So people are losing their purchasing power. And what are people doing when they lose their purchasing power? They're going to look for other assets that are a store of value, so they can transfer the money into a store of value and have the money protected against inflation and protected against the prices going upward. So does this have to do with inflation? Inflation was, over the last month in Turkey, it was 16%. So if the prices in 1 month rise by 16%, you will freak out if that happens. And if that happens year by year, you will look for other assets, and that's what those people are doing. They will look for options to get money to the, let's say, to the dollar or to Bitcoin. What they do is to make sure that they protect their wealth, and this is obviously very normal to do. But on the other hand, we have the central bank of Turkey that sees all of those liras converted into Bitcoin and into USD or other currencies, maybe even, or into gold or whatever. And they see it transferring, and what happens next is that the transfer to Bitcoin or other currencies is creating a systematical risk. So this means that the economy will even more get more unstable by people transferring money out of the system, out of the Lira. So this reminds me, and that was what I said in this tweet, this reminds me of the banking crisis in Cyprus in 2013. And in 2013 we had a banking crisis in Cyprus which was quite big. We saw people standing in lines in front of banks to get their money out of the bank, and they had a maximum that they could take out. But right before this happened, people realized that this was coming up. Not everyone was realizing this, but a lot of people were. And they already transferred money from the bank into Bitcoin in 2012, 2013 when this banking crisis happened. They transferred it already so they could get the money out of Cyprus. And that's what we see right now as well. So we see that Turkey, with a lot of inflation, with the economy collapsing right now, people are looking for ways to hold their value, to hold value in their liras. So here we see the decision appeared as cryptocurrency volume in the country surged 3,000% previous 12 months. In the previous 12 months, the inflation rate topped at 16% last month, like I told you before. And what we see as well is that the growing demand in Bitcoin created an all-time high in Turkey. So Turkey has a separate market, and it's not easy to transfer to the Turkey market and to the European or the American market. So the price of Bitcoin on peer-to-peer exchanges, so person-to-person exchanges, rose to an all-time high of $100,000 if you calculated it back into dollars. So if you transfer it back. So this is really important, and I think that the things that the central bank said, like illegal activities, volatile, a risk for investing, blah, blah, blah. So I think this is just a cover-up for what's really going on. So what they probably see right now in the Turkish economy is that you will get a separate economy next to the Lira economy. So if you have a store of value in which you can pay peer-to-peer really easy, then it's also quite easy to do the payments in Bitcoin, for example. And I can imagine that the bakery or the supermarket don't want to have any Lira anymore because the purchasing value is going down by minutes. So I can imagine that people say, just give me Bitcoin. I know it's a real store of value, and the price of Bitcoin is going up completely against the Lira. So there is an option that then there is an economy evolving next to the normal Lira economy, and I think that is what they want to shut down. And then we had Hester Peirce. You probably know her as the crypto mom. She was on Market Watch last Sunday, and she is, by the way, a very crypto-friendly commissioner at the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC. And in this interview, she spoke about how easy it is to ban Bitcoin, and she said, I don't see how you could ban it. You certainly can make an effort, but it will be very hard to stop people from trading Bitcoin. I think it will be a foolish thing for governments to try to do that. You have to shut down the internet to ban Bitcoin. And in my opinion, that's completely correct. If you take a look at how easy it will be for Turkey to ban cryptocurrency payments, I'm not sure if they even can manage it, if they can even regulate this. So Hester Peirce is probably right. And what Mark van der Scheijs also said, Mark van der Scheijs is, by the way, the early inventor of the Chinese version of YouTube. It's called Doge. And after he finished this project, he went to Canada, and there he started Hut8. And he was one of the early investors. Right now he's not that involved anymore in Hut8, but Hut8 is still one of the biggest mining corps in the world. And he said, this is so bullish for Bitcoin. This is going to be a big topic for people to talk about. So a lot of them will learn about BTC for the first time. Then they will see their local currency inflating away and realizing why Turkey is doing this. And this is exactly what I just explained. I think, in my honest opinion, that there is a different reason for Turkey ban cryptocurrency payments. It's, in my opinion, not about illegal activities or the risk for trading or whatever. It's to make sure that they don't extra destabilize their own currency, the Lira. And Mark says it's good that they ban this because people will dive deeper into Bitcoin and then have awareness about this option and maybe even end up in adoption. So yeah, I think there is it's good that people are getting involved, or at least know what's going on in the Bitcoin market right now, and that there's a lot of interest, and maybe they can protect their wealth, which is really important in my opinion. And then we had a tweet of Madelon Vos about the 6% drop below 60,400 on the news from Turkey is just ridiculous. Their leadership, led by Erdogan, is dysfunctional, and Turkey accounts less than 1% of the world population. Their currency, the Lira, has recently collapsed, and the opposition party is against this crypto ban. So he says this drop doesn't have anything to do with Turkey, and if you say so, it's completely ridiculous because it accounts for only 1% of the world population, and their central bank made a very big mistake. And that's correct. The central bank made a very big mistake. Also, Erdogan fired the head of the central bank. I think it was last month. But in my honest opinion, traders are getting influenced by the news. And if you read about ban, people will get, oh, there's a ban somewhere. Okay, maybe I should sell for quite a short period of time. But of course, this can create quite a drop or even a small drop. So I don't really agree with Ronnie about that the drop doesn't have anything to do with Turkey. I think it's ridiculous. That's completely correct. But I think traders will they will probably get informed about this and decide to maybe even sell. Then we had the direct listing of Coinbase, which was really important. I myself also bought some Coinbase stocks just for fun. And because I bought some, I have skin in the game, and now I really want to watch it every time when there's news or when there are new figures or something like that. And this was really, really not really nerve-wracking, but it was really important to watch. We saw that the Coinbase price had a reference price of around 250 USD. But there were no trades executed at that price. The price, after opening on the Nasdaq, the price was like 380 or so, and then it rose to like 430, and it ended the day by 330 or so. And that means that the total value of Coinbase right now is 85 billion on its opening day, and that's completely insane because it's bigger than the New York Stock Exchange, the Intercontinental Exchange, ICE, and that's about 700 billion, and it has more market value than the Nasdaq. So yeah, this is great actually, and it's really a stamp on the cryptocurrency market as a whole. We're here to stay and we're not going back. So we will watch this closely over the next couple of weeks and even months when there are new figures released. And then I found this tweet of Bitcoin Archive about Coinbase holding 122 billion of assets for institutions. So it's great to hear that there are a lot of institutions that are holding their funds in Bitcoin. And in my opinion, these institutions will only grow bigger, and this figure isn't going down. We also saw this one, that 60% of the Bitcoin supply has been held for more than 1 year. So we see that the hodlers keep hodling and that the hodlers are even growing. We also see it in the increasing illiquid supply. So the supply is getting more liquid, which means that there is more money transferred to from the exchange to other places, so people are not offering it online, so they don't want to sell or buy. And for the long term has been increasing at a historical rate. We see it growing over the last couple of months, even over the last couple of years, and it's still going upward, and it's probably because there are more institutional investors ongoing. We also found this tweet from Zero Hedge, and it's about the market performance year to date. Here we see that the total return of Bitcoin was the highest from the complete list, and we also see the Sharpe ratio. And the Sharpe ratio is a really important figure, because if you have a high Sharpe ratio, this means that your return over the additional risk is higher. So Bitcoin has the highest return over the additional risk. And also the absolute total return is the highest from all the asset classes we see here on the Goldman Sachs Kickstart US Weekly. Jeroen Blokland tweeted about inflation. The PPI is in this tweet. And what we see is that the PPI is going upwards, and he says inflation has arrived. And we've heard about this earlier. Inflation might be the only way out of the debt crisis. Also, Jerome Powell spoke about this last week in his very bad interview. I must say it was a bad interview, but he spoke about this, and we will probably overshoot the inflation. And here we see why they want to have inflation. Most importantly, inflation is now described as the way out of the crisis by reducing value of debts over time. So if you inflate your debt will be worth less. Also, on the other hand, your wealth will be worth less if it's in fiat currency, but your debt will also be worth less. A year ago, central banks and government were forced to take unprecedented measures in real time to avert a 1929 style depression. The resulting skyrocketing debts will doubtless weigh on future generations, but for now it seems it's the only game in town to reboot national economies by making them even more debt addicted. And this is what we heard in Kristalina Georgieva's Big Reset talk. She spoke about this, and she said we have to get more used to getting more debt, but I don't think this is a good thing. For the entire house of cards not to crumble, growth and inflation needs to be restored. It is the only way to repay debt, legacy of the crisis. And we've heard Janet Yellen and Jay Paul speak about this both. But I don't think it's a good thing, and there's a lot of rumors going on if there is enough silver and gold for the demand that there is. And Willem Middelkoop tweeted about this last week. London LBMA scared they would run out of silvers. There were concerns that London would run out of silver if the ETP demand remained at high level in early 2021, and this can happen again. We also heard about Perth Mint that they not have enough gold. And what we see right now on the chart is the same. So people are getting nervous, and if they get nervous, they buy gold and they buy silver. And there is on the background with the silver squeeze so much more going on. But right now, when we take a look at the chart, we see something special evolving. Here we saw a decline, here as well, right after a rally. Here as well, again, right after a rally. This is a big decline, but let's take a look at this. I spoke about this 2 weeks ago in my Dutch video. We saw that the price of gold was bottoming out. Here we see the bottom. And if we take a look at fractal analysis right now, as here as well, then you will see that here is a bottom evolving as well, and we went upward, downward, and then upward again. So here we went upward, maybe we go down a bit, maybe even test this old resistance as a new support line and then break out upwards. But if we break this line, this is very bullish for gold, but this also means that the underlying economy is doing way worse and that people are getting more and more nervous. Last week, again, Kristalina Georgieva, the managing director of the IMF, called a new meeting called Bretton Woods Moment, and she's talking about secure, equitable, and sustainable recovery. And this is completely, I wouldn't say nuts, but it's really interesting to watch this. We will keep close eye on what's coming up over the next couple of weeks or maybe even months. And the IMF will also talk about debt. They will probably also talk about the central bank digital currencies. And Beijing is also testing with central bank digital currencies. And they did something that, in my opinion, is really scared. Beijing has tested expiration dates to encourage users to spend their digital yuan quickly for times when the economy needs a jumpstart. So yes, your digital money will expire. First in China, then everywhere else. And in my honest opinion, this is scary. Because this means that instead of having 2% inflation every year and your purchasing power will go down by 2% or maybe even higher if you don't believe the CPI figures, it can be 10% a year. But to be honest, it doesn't even matter for this example. In this example, your money will go from, let's say the coupon is $100, it will go from $100 to zero in one day. So your money will have an expiration date. So you probably can't save anymore. This means that you will be completely addicted to having debts. You will be completely, your financial freedom is at risk right now. And to me, this makes me kind of scary. So this makes me kind of scared, and I feel like this is not the way we want to go to in Europe or in America. But we have to watch this very closely and think 2 steps ahead before this is going to happen over here. And we know that China has a bit of a different strategy with blaming their citizens for doing things wrong, and they have a social credit system. It's completely different from what we have here, but we don't want to go into that direction. MicroStrategy to pay board members in Bitcoin. What we see in Turkey, what I just told you about, is the separate economy that's rising, and we might gonna see this in America or in Europe as well. So we might see an extra economy evolving where people pay in Bitcoin, where people get salary in Bitcoin, and where people store their value in Bitcoin. And to me, this is really insane and bizarre to watch. But MicroStrategy is paying their members, their board members in Bitcoin. And we heard about this in the beginning of 2021. I think it was from the Winklevoss brothers. They spoke with the commissioner in Miami, and he is very bullish on Bitcoin, and he wants to let residents pay taxes in Bitcoin. So I maybe have to move to Miami, which is really close from where we are right now. I think it's like 2 hours flying. But there is so much more coming up. I think you can't even imagine what's coming up next. And the final move of the bull market in 2017 was a blow-off top. And on the blow-off top, we saw that the price of Bitcoin was rising quite high. And in 5 weeks' time, the price went 3.7 times upwards. So we saw an insane rise, and we haven't seen that yet in Bitcoin. But what I see right now is a lot of alts booming, a lot of altcoin traffic, and we will talk about this in the next news article. But for now, if we move 3.7 times extra, then the price would lead to 233k peak. So there is much more to come, but I wanted to discuss what's going on in the altcoin markets. Elon Musk tweeted about Dogecoin again, and it hit a new all-time high. Elon Musk tweeted on the April 15, and Dogecoin went up by 85%. And to me, this has nothing to do with investing. It has nothing to do with value. It has nothing to do with the economy, and it has nothing to do with the store of value. It has everything to do with being a meme. So in my opinion, a lot of things I've seen in 2013 and 2017, I'm seeing again now during alt season. I always make the example, tell the example that if you have a mouse running over your a keyboard from your MacBook or something like that, running over your keyboard, randomly buying out, your portfolio will do great in the next 2 months. But afterward, we have to see what will survive, which coins will survive. I'm from the time in 2013 where we had memecoin and feathercoin and peercoin, and they don't exist anymore. So of course there will be some great projects that are the new, if we take a look at the regular financial markets, that are the new Tesla or that are the new Amazon. There will be some projects that are that great and that can make you a lot of money. But in my opinion, it isn't about making money. It's about our economy going mad, going insane, and we need to create a store of value. And in my eyes, that's Bitcoin. And of course, there can be some altcoins doing great. But if we take a look at Bitcoin from the beginning, and we will take a look at the performance of Bitcoin, there is no coin that's doing better than Bitcoin. So I just realized that, and I just want to make sure you don't get like completely brainwashed by diving into these altcoins just to make money. And it's not about that. It's about, yeah, I told you enough. It's good for now. Okay. And now we're going to take a look at the chart, one of my favorite subjects of this video. I love looking at charts. You can wake me up in the middle at night to look at a pretty chart. And I love my sleep, by the way. But here we have the price of Bitcoin on the Bitstamp exchange. We have candles of 4 hours. I use the Heiken Ashi candles. We have a normal RSI walking here downwards. And what we see is that there was a pattern evolving, which is called triangle. And this triangle had higher highs and higher lows, and we broke out upwards. That's what we saw. We broke out upwards on quite higher volume, not insane volume, but quite higher volume. And now we're like retesting this upward movement. This upward movement we've seen before, by the way. I'm going to scroll down here. We've seen it over here. Here we had the triangle, and we went into this upward channel, and then we broke out even faster. So now we have to wait until we break out of this upward trend. So now the old resistance, here it was the resistance, is becoming a new support right now. And we're just stuck in the middle of this upward trend, moving upwards. But it will be great if we continue rising faster, so more vertical. And we will remain a new all-time high or create a new all-time high. But for now, it's just waiting again. We've hit this resistance, which comes from here, and we will just continue this upward trend and wait and see where it's going. Right now, there is no such thing as a new pattern evolving. I can take a look at the smaller time frame, and here you can say, here we have like this small pattern, and we will probably have some support over here or maybe even lower. But for now, it's looking great actually, and we will know if we break down this support line right before the 17th or maybe the 18th of April, and right now it's the 16th. So within 2 days we will see if we break out upward of this super small downward trend, and that will be great because that means that we've stamped the bottom of this horizontal support line, and it's a very strong one in that case. So I would really like to thank you for watching this video again. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, please let me know down below. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you want to have more insights or see what's going on behind the scene or in my life or whatever. I will also get you updated on the last news. For now, I would really like to thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we will see you next week. Bye bye!